Backroom negotiations are happening right now on Capitol Hill. House Republicans spent all morning voting on their next nominee for House Speaker. They settled on one of the party's leaders, but they're not ready to go back to the floor because he still does not have enough support from his colleagues. Our Adam Longo has spent the day on Capitol Hill, and Adam, Mark Emmer got the majority here. So why aren't House Republicans ready to put him up for a vote for the full House?
Yeah, it's a great question, Simone, and good afternoon to you. There has been so much that has happened in the time that we have been out here in the Longworth House office building. That's where the entirety of the House Republican Conference is meeting. Since 9 o'clock this morning, there have gone through 5 rounds of voting. The result of that voting, Tom Emmer, Republican of Minnesota, the majority whip in the House, was nominated as a result of winning the majority, nominated as the Speaker nominee of the Republican Conference. But there's a huge problem. First, let me tell you what's happening literally right now. House Republicans have been on about a 2-hour break. They're literally right now heading back into the room to start their conference meeting again and discuss the next steps forward. Here is the big problem. Right after Emmer was nominated and got the majority vote of Republicans, Donald Trump, the former president, put out a post on social media that had the effect of dropping a live grenade into the room where all those Republicans were gathered, and it's essentially killed Emmer's chances at the speakership, because now we have at least 4 Republicans who say they will refuse to vote for Tom Emmer. There are potentially many more than that. Let's listen to right now from one of them, Congressman Jim Banks, who says he won't support the congressman. Listen.
I can't go along with putting one of the most moderate members of the entire Republican conference in the speaker's chair. That betrays the conservative values that I came here to fight for.
Do you believe that there are more than 4 who are completely dug in and would be unlikely to change?
Oh, yeah, the number's much larger than that.
Shouldn't there be another candidate, right?
I would believe that that's evidently where we are. We perhaps believed that before the day started.
All right, so listen, here is some of what the former president had to say when he posted on Truth Social just a little bit ago. He says voting for a globalist rhino, Republican in name only, like Tom Emmer, would be a tragic mistake. So listen, as the Republican members continue to file in here, one of the things that I want to pass along to you is, I'm not sure I've done a good enough job of it the past week, explaining why we're here today, why WSA 9, your local TV station, is here on Capitol Hill covering this speaker's race, because this is not something that we would normally be out here to cover. And we're here for a handful of reasons. First of which, we are now 24 days away from another potential government shutdown. And this affects so many of you who work for the federal government, who contract with the federal government, who are in the military, whose families are members of the military, and also what effect a new speaker will have on D.C. Of course, Congress has to approve, disapprove the laws that are passed by the D.C. Council through the home rule. So we talked to C.C. Grant a couple of hours ago. She is the new executive director of the advocacy group D.C. Vote. And I asked her about what is so crucial about having a new speaker in for D.C. And let's talk about the differences between a potential Jim Jordan and Tom Emmer, what that could mean for D.C. Listen to this.
I have been a Democrat for a long, long time. And until 3 years ago, no one would consider Emmer a moderate Republican. The fact that Emmer is a candidate that Leader Jeffries and other Democrats feel that they can work with just proves that what the Democratic Party wants is just an adult. You know, adult that is willing to bring all voices to the table.
All right, so listen, coming up tonight on WSA 9 News at 5 and 6 o'clock, you'll hear more from C.C. Grant from D.C. Vote, talking specifically about what to expect from a new speaker, what they want from a new speaker, and some of the crucial things that will be coming down the pipeline legislatively in the next year that could affect D.C., and how a new speaker will help to shape and guide those votes. We're live here in the Longworth House office building on Capitol Hill. Adam Longo, WUSA 9.
Adam, we know that Emmer is meeting with some of the holdouts here in terms of voting, and any indication that they might vote again tonight, or what do you think?
Right. So what they're doing right now is, when Pete Sessions, the congressman who you just heard from there, came out of the meeting, he said, look, we have to regroup. The conference chair, Elise Stefanik, Republican of New York, she is basically in charge of guiding this entire process, right? So she is the one who's organizing these conference meetings. So we've heard from another couple of members who think that there could be another roll call vote in there, just to see where Emmer stands. We do know this for a fact. You asked about additional votes tonight. It doesn't appear that there's going to be a vote on the House floor tonight, because it sounds like Emmer and the leadership are fully in the camp, most Republicans are in the camp, that unless a nominee has 217 Republican votes, that's what it would take to win, that they're not going to take a vote to the floor. This is what we saw with Jim Jordan. He did not have 217 in the room, took the vote to the House floor anyway, and then lost 3 times on the House floor. Republicans don't want to go through that again. So they want to emerge from this meeting with a speaker candidate who they know has that support among their own conference. Remember, they can only lose 4 Republican members before they go and vote on the floor again. So it looks like they might have another roll call vote in this room. I think a vote on the House floor tonight, Simone, highly unlikely.
All right, Adam, we'll be checking in with you. Thank you.